a lot of people don't realize that we're given some of our own gifts and talents to actually be an outlet for us to be creative and to focus and hone in on something. For me, it's designing and creating shoes.
Welcome to the Greatness Ignited podcast, where we have conversations about the greatness of others so that you can recognize the greatness in you. My name is Barry Overton, and I have been studying greatness for the last 7 years, and it is taking my career to new heights. And now me and a few of the successful people that I have had the honor of interviewing are coming together to ignite your greatness and light the fire within. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Greatness Ignited, where we're having discussions with everyday people that are doing some amazing things, but discussing the greatness in others so you can realize the greatness in you. Today, I am pleased that we are with a gentleman that I've known probably about 4 or 5 years now, doing some amazing things, Stephen Mcmillan II. Stephen Mcmillan 2.0, if you will. He's just doing some amazing things. And at the age of 30, a 30-year-old entrepreneur who owns his own shoe company, an international shoe company. Shoes are going all around the world with his branding and logo on it. So it's really exciting to be able to do that at 30 years old. I can tell you, I've known him, like I said, 4 or 5 years, and he's been doing entrepreneurial endeavors at least the time that I've known him, and much longer than that. So, Stephen, I'm so glad to have you here with us today. We're definitely going to dive into some of those entrepreneurial endeavors, how long you've been doing it, what inspired you to get started with that. But we're going to kind of take it back from the beginning to, again, probably, let's say 25 or 20 years ago to, just childhood and what was life like for you growing up. I have the pleasure of knowing your dad, a great gentleman, and I know he's a great father as well, and very proud of you. But I just want to hear in your own words, what was that like growing up for you?
25 years ago. Honestly, I'm definitely blessed and lucky enough to be able to have, of course, both my parents in home. My parents, they just celebrated their 34th anniversary, and they've been together for about 40 years since ninth grade. Always heard that story. So a lot of pressure growing up trying to find my wife in high school. But I've got an older sister who's 3 years older than me, and I've got a younger brother who's 2 years younger than me. Life for us, it was definitely pretty good. Both my parents great examples. My dad was a ex-professional athlete, and he has an entrepreneurial spirit himself. Um, Broke his neck his rookie year, so he didn't get to really last in the NFL that long. My mom, just an amazing, phenomenal woman, completely reserved, but so powerful. Like, when you meet somebody that they're very reserved, but they just have this powerful presence about them. That's my mom to the T, and she's a kindergarten teacher.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and honestly, sports were a big part of our life just growing up in general. So whether it was martial arts, basketball, football, baseball, track, um, we were always involved in some type of extracurricular activity. And for me, my first love was basketball, but then I ended up falling in love with football when I was like too short for basketball. But at the same time, a lot of people were gifted and just talented since birth. For me, I felt like I had to work for everything that I had. Yeah, I definitely had a great opportunity as far as with my dad, being an ex-athlete, but I did the extra work. There were times that he didn't have to tell me to go and do those extra workouts, to go and study and all that. So I just really took a hold of that craft and really honed in and focused in on it. And but life definitely still had its challenges. Um, it was still difficult. through some things that we went through, especially myself, having a background as far as actually struggling with depression and anxiety, honestly, for majority of my life. Um, but I still, the mindset that my parents built into me, I call it the warrior mindset. It's what actually helped me overcome those struggles more than anything. And that I give a good credit to as far as the reason why I've had some of the success that I've had, even now and today.
Yeah, that is. I'm glad you're open to being transparent about that, because again, when you start talking depression and anxiety, it's difficult for people to open up in regards to that. But I know you're giving heart, and part of that is that you want to be able to help others, and if it's even just being able to share your story and the struggle with depression and anxiety, and if that is something that will be able to help others, and realizing that again, it doesn't discriminate. Depression and anxiety doesn't discriminate. It can be in that single parent household, it can be in that abusive household, or it could be in your situation where it was a two family loving parents, and you still had those struggles of depression and anxiety. But here it is again at 30 years old, and I'm sure there's still days that can be challenging, but I know along the way that you got some techniques and tools that you've been able to learn, that have helped you through that process. If you want to just kind of share a little bit in regards to that.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I've definitely have been a big advocate, for against depression and anxiety, and giving people healthier techniques instead of just trying to medicate. I definitely am a big practice of prayer and meditating myself. It's something that's really, really big for me. It helps calm the mind, helps me get centered as far as with my spirit, body, everything around me, just life in general. I'm a big, big, big advocate as far as with that. And even fitness. Fitness, being an ex-athlete, people don't realize on how much that actually fights against depression and anxiety. Of course, you have the oxytocin going when you're actually working out, and it's even a feel good that when you're honed in and you're focused in on something, it actually makes you feel even great about yourself in that moment in that time. And even if the workout's kicking your butt during the time, you still get this great feel good. And so for anybody that isn't necessarily into their fitness, and I've a lot, but I still try to make sure that I'm doing some type of fitness in my life, even if it's just walking some stairs, something, adding something. It could be 10 push-ups a day. Adding something, I believe, is super, super important, and even building up your mindset and fighting against those struggles that you have. And one of my other things is my own gift and talent. Um, a lot of people don't realize that we're given some of our own gifts and talents to actually be an outlet for us to be creative in and to focus and hone in on something. For me, it's designing and creating shoes. And so when I'm designing and creating shoes, it's not even for it to release all the time. It's honestly for my own self that, oh man, I got all this stuff going on right now, and I just need to relax, focus, hone in on something. And sooner than later, I'm not even thinking about that depression. I'm not even thinking about having those anxiety feelings creeping up on me, because some people's they are very serious where it actually can cause um, something physical to you. And I've got some friends and some colleagues who actually have it where it is that extreme. I felt the physical attacks before from anxiety. And so for me, those are my definitely my three key things. And some people may not know their talents or their gifts, but it just takes time to a little get to know yourself a little bit more and
Yeah.
seeing what you do love and what you do like. What you like and what you may be passionate about may not be exactly what somebody else is passionate about, but you have to find out more about yourself in that way to be able to figure out how can I counteract my
Yeah.
struggles.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And one of the areas that, I talk quite a bit about in regards to greatness is tapping into your gifts and talents. and really just honing that craft, because that's a truly part of where your greatness lies. And one of Steve Jobs' quotes, one of my favorite quotes from him, is that about connecting the dots in your life, and that you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And once you have the trust that you'll be able to connect the dots in the future, then you will live in the present, knowing and trusting that the dots will connect. And that's when I look at your life, and we've had conversations about it and understanding. We've had a conversation about, you want to play in the NFL and you want to have your own shoe deal, or you wanted to work for Nike and designing shoes. And here it is, we fast forward to age 30, and maybe you didn't make it to the NFL, maybe you're not in Nike, but you did even better. You said, hey, I'm gonna be my own Nike and create my own shoe, and you're designing. And the beauty of working for yourself is no one can come back and tell you, nah, that design doesn't fit with our brand or our company. No, because it's your company. So I really, I can see the dots connecting in your life. So when you go back to 12 years old, when you had those thoughts, are you seeing now, going back, those dots connecting for you in life?
Man, absolutely. And it's crazy to actually see it all coming to fruition. That I'm a big believer that anything that we learn or anything that happens in our life doesn't go to waste, that it could always come back and be recycled to be able to launch us and ignite us into our purpose. Um, I remember sitting back and drawing out some shoes. I remember even drawing a sock shoe way before sock shoes were even released or thought about. And I drew it out and I was like, man, this is be so awesome to do. But I had no idea how to do it. And then, of course, now years later on down the road, I'm able to create these. I wish I was able to create the first sock shoe. Definitely would have been amazing. But still, it's still amazing to see that from all my experiences over the years, it all coming together from my experience from social media marketing, digital marketing, me having my clothing brand. That's actually where I first started launching that when I was 20 years old, was a t-shirts and hoodies and sweats. And then even my dance experience and learning how to network with people, all that all coming together just to be able to launch me even further forward. So I'm really excited about the next 20 years and even what that's going to look like as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. And the beauty of it is, I talked about knowing you roughly 4 or 5 years, and every since I've known you, you've been in that digital space, whether it was, building e-commerce stores or teaching other people how to build e-commerce stores and create six-figure incomes for themselves. How long have you been, in business for yourself?
Um, man, since 2015, since
Okay.
2015, I moved to San Diego, to be with my mentor during the time. Literally, probably had $200 in my pocket, and it was just a big faith step for me because my family's here. My son, he was, I think, 4 years old during the time, and so everything comfortably for me was here. And he lived in San Diego. I got into my Nissan, drove there, and by the time I got there, I probably had about $25 left. And literally, I had the opportunity of a lifetime to be able to learn absolutely everything. That's honestly how I even started to figure out design shoes, and making them and actually having a physical product of the shoe. I learned a lot of things as far as Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and it just it opened it up my mind to see everything that I could possibly do. That literally that I'm a big believer that if your business isn't online, then your business is going to end up becoming the Stone Age. We see it with Toys R Us, Sears. A lot of these physical stores aren't necessarily able to compete with Amazon. And Amazon, we all know, blew up over the last 3 years. It's just absolutely ridiculous as with the e-commerce space.
Yeah.
But to get back to, I was just teaching e-commerce. I was doing e-commerce myself, and then I was teaching it, and I started doing webinars and masterminds and all that alongside with my mentor, and that was just an absolute phenomenal experience. It is definitely similar as far as what I'm doing now, just because I'm still doing e-commerce, but what I was doing before was drop shipping products, pretty much finding products at a wholesale price and, of course, selling it for higher. One of the products that we used was the black facial mask that went viral in 2016. It's just ridiculous. And but when you're creating your own product, when you're literally creating your own product from the ground up, it's completely different from drop shipping because there isn't necessarily a full audience that's necessarily interested in your product right now. And so you have to go through the full branding process, understanding your targeted niche and what that even looks like. And so there's a couple of differences in between drop shipping and fully building a brand. But man, the knowledge that I've been able to get and attain from both aspects has been phenomenal.
Yeah, and I can definitely see the growth and what you've been able to learn while you were in San Diego. And again, I was watching you. I don't think I even realized that Stephen Mcmillan II and the Stephen Mcmillan that I knew were actually related. You even have an uncle that's a jazz artist. I didn't realize that was your uncle until just a few months ago. But I was watching you because I was like, same thing. I was probably in my late 40s at that time, but I knew this is the way of the world. Again, when you see Netflix take over Blockbuster, and like you said, Amazon take over so many different companies, but more importantly, you could see people like yourself and people that were working from home that were creating these 6-7 figure e-commerce businesses, while working from home. You could see the wave of the future. And I told myself, hey, I may be almost 50 at that time, but I'm not going to miss this. I'm not going to miss the opportunity to be able to build on that e-commerce platform. So I definitely commend you for seeing it early in life and really starting to launch yourself. And like you said, I'm excited to see where you'll be in 10, 20 years, from this point, and the conversations you'll be having and the number of people that you'll be impacting. So I want to kind of go into it's always my favorite question to ask successful people, but I also just like asking this question in general. And it's really just asking people to, when did they identify and when did they recognize the greatness in them? And I can tell you a lot of times when I ask people this question, they struggle with it. Because number one, I think we look at greatness as something that's for the other guy. We look at greatness, we give greatness to the title of the Tom Brady's or the Muhammad Ali's or the Michael Jacksons of the world. But when someone tries to tell us that we have greatness, we almost want to look at them side eye and say, "What you talking about, Willis?" But no, we all have greatness inside of us, and that's really where my passion lies: is getting people to understand that greatness in them. Because while you can be a Super Bowl champion, and that's an identity of greatness, but you can also be a single mom that raised 3 kids and got them all through college. That's greatness in itself as well. So going back to my question, when would you say that you identified and recognized there was something special that you had and this greatness was being ignited?
I think for me personally, I've had clues of it throughout my life. When I first really found out that I was great at football, it was just like turning on a light switch. I was able to make moves that honestly not a lot of people during the time were able to make at the high school level. And so I was like, man, I know I'm meant for something great. I know I'm meant to do something great. I just don't know what. I wanted it to be football, but me hurting my knee, and a couple life choices ended up taking that dream away. And then I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do something great. I don't know what it is yet. And then of course, I ended up getting a dance. But then when I really realized it, I was in Miami with my mentor. We were on a business tour during the time. And during the time, I was just doing like customer service for the e-commerce store. I was handling all the emails, tracking all the orders, just doing all customer service. And we just started learning how to actually do Amazon stores for people too. And I remember my mentor he was looking at me. He's like, Steve, you don't know how good you are. You don't know how great you are. And I was looking at him like, what do you mean? He's like, you are one of the most talented people I've ever met, but your work ethic still isn't there yet. And he said, once your work ethic, that light switch turns on, you'll be phenomenal and you'll be great. And then the next week he fired me. So literally I was sitting there for a week, probably a week and a half, just on the couch, mad, like, man, why did you fire me? And he's just looking at me, just waiting. And I was like, hey, I pulled him to the side and was like, hey, can I get some advice as far as um, doing this Amazon store? And he's like, Steve, you already know what to do. Like you've been doing all the back end work already. He's like, just do it. And then I did it. And I think it was like the fourth day, I ended up having like a $900 day on Amazon.
Wow.
And it was just books. I was drop shipping some books. And that's when it just clicked. I was like, wow. All I had to do was just get somebody to push me off the ledge a little bit and put me in an uncomfortable position. And that's when I really started to see how good and that greatness that I see in myself actually coming to fruition. And honestly, it hasn't necessarily stopped since then. I'm still continuing to grow and still continue to learn and still seeing different levels of that greatness in different areas. Of course, for instance, for the shoes, but I released a book in 2018 that ended up becoming an Amazon bestseller. I'm getting ready to I'm finishing up my second book. And even me being a father of two, having a 9-year-old and him being a phenomenal athlete and being able to father him and my son that will be getting ready to be 2-year-old, I've seen not only that greatness in myself and me being a better father and better son and a better brother, better entrepreneur over time, but also seeing that in other people as well and learning how to activate that greatness in other people too.
Yeah, and I mean that's number one. It kind of leads us into our next area that we're going to talk about. But again, that humanitarian effort and the willingness to share and provide to others and impact others. I know that that's something that's very important to you. I know we talked about some things that you're looking to do for the homeless in regards to your shoes. But if you want to share that, and then also just touch bases on, again, the other things that you're doing, because again, one thing I've learned from millionaires, multimillionaires that I've been able to work around is that they're not trying to hold everything for themselves. They are very open to sharing the information and the knowledge. And I've noticed that with you as well, as you have learned e-commerce, that you have been very open with sharing it with others. But if you want to just kind of touch on your humanitarian efforts that you're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely have a big heart for the homeless. I've always have. I remember spending Valentine's Day with a homeless person, just hanging out with them. Because that's what I just felt like God wanted me to do. And so recently I wanted to do a project where I could actually get homeless people, not necessarily a sneaker, because I don't think a sneaker would last great as far as snowy, rainy weather, but an actual boot. So I designed a boot. To be honest, I think it looks great. I've had a lot of great responses about it, but I actually want to get these boots to the homeless. And I want to partner with some other organizations to be able to, or just partner with people just in general, to be able to get these shoes to the homeless. And that's definitely my heart, especially for the Denver community, because we do have a very large amount of homeless people here. And the weather in the winter, it is tough. It is absolutely rough. It's just below 0 degrees. Is freezing, even being out there for 10 minutes. And I can't imagine what it's like having a thin shoe, not thick socks or anything, out there in that type of weather. And I've had to catch the bus in that weather. It's terrible. And so that's one thing I'm definitely want to do, as far as with the homeless. And definitely still mentoring kids. That's always been a very big passion as far as mine's. I'm mentoring and coaching sports alongside with my dad as well, Stephen Mcmillan I, and a couple other ventures too. I want to open up a school. I actually want to open up a school for kids that are have that entrepreneurial spirit, or their parents see that they may have that entrepreneurial spirit, and to be able to learn how to launch their own books, to learn how to launch their own podcasts, to have their own T-shirt line, shoe brand, etc. Social media marketing, learning how to consult, even at a young age, even how to handle their money properly. And so I want to launch an online school for that, to be able to start teaching these kids now while they're young, so they already have that type of mindset when they get older, as far as that. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna get a degree, but I know how to understand how to build a business as well, so I will own something for myself as well. That's um that's really important to me. Those are a couple of things that are definitely really important to me, and I definitely want to partner with other organizations as well too, that have other causes, to be able to create them a shoe for their cause as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know we're actually working with an organization right now to do just that. I'm really excited about that as well, because you think about the cleats for causes in the NFL, and being able to see an athlete wearing this cleat that has a special meaning to him. And we're looking to take that to a whole nother direction of creating for different, whether it's a diabetes or whether it's a homeless nonprofit, whatever the case may be, creating a shoe that they can use from a fundraising standpoint, but also helps them to bring awareness to their organization. So if you're listening to this and you are a part of a fundraiser and you're looking for a fundraising opportunity, this is one that can be very lucrative to your organization in regards to bringing funds in. But also, like I said, imagine having a shoe that people are wearing with the logo of your nonprofit on it, that's designed by Concrete Eden. So definitely reach out to Stephen in regards to opportunities with that as well. And as we close out, Stephen, I want to give you the platform for a couple of minutes, really just to speak to the audience in regards to your shoe brand, what they can they can go to your website. I got my phone up right now, and your website is scrolling, and I'm seeing number one, I'm seeing orders coming in. Number two, I'm seeing T-shirts, and I'm seeing shoes, and I'm seeing boots. So if you want to just kind of share what people can expect, the Concrete Eden experience that they'll have.
Man, thank you again, Barry, and thank you for having me on the show. Um, my mission with Concrete Eden is, of course, definitely way bigger than shoes. But when you get on the website, you definitely going to get experience, and to be able to feel comfortable in yourself more than anything, and who you are supposed to be, being concrete with yourself and being concrete with others. That's all that I'm about. And I'm going to add a couple more things on there too. When you join the email list, you'll get motivational videos, you'll get inspirational videos, things that can build up your mindset as well. So it's not only just a physical product that you'll get. You'll get some things from me and other people that I'm connected with. But one of the absolute amazing shoes that I have, it's the Blessed S1s. It's phenomenally comfortable. It's very innovative as well. And I'm having a couple more colors come out. I've got a black and a white and red one as well. But I'm getting ready to come out and drop a couple different colorways. And then there's also it's almost like a Timberland type of boot. and it has some black camouflage on it. That's the one I actually wanted to do for the homeless. There's leggings, there's t-shirts, there's a whole bunch of things on there. That's where I kind of really get to be creative. But more than anything, the shoes are phenomenal. They're comfortable. They're different from Nikes. They're absolutely different from Nikes and any other brand that you've seen. Just even from the design aspect of it, with the camouflage and all the tiger camo print and all that goes with it. But what I love more than anything is when I'm able to actually create custom shoes. And as of right now, there's not a tab that you click on. You do have to either email me or message me via Facebook or Instagram directly. I am getting ready to make a software where you can actually digitally design your own custom shoe on there. That'll be launched sometime next year. But if you do want your own, like, let's say you want to have your own face on your shoe, we could literally do that. We could take a picture of your face and put it on the shoe. But that's something that I love to do because it gets the creative juices out of me, and I get to create something really dope specifically for somebody, for their brand or for their birthday and or anniversary. I just created my mama's shoe for her for Christmas. And so being able to do that's absolutely amazing for me. And I think it's a great gift for people when you're able to give them something customized. And but definitely be on the lookout for more than just black and red, because I know that a lot of people are going, there's only black and red on there. There's going to be definitely a lot more colorways coming out, but I'm releasing that all at one time. Not all at one time. It's going to be over time that you're going to see different types of colorways. But you can also, like I said, you could request that custom one if you would like.
All right. Yeah, and I got to tell you, I just got my blessed shoes, and I'm one of those people that reached out and say, hey, can you do a custom shoe? And I actually got 2 in a box. I haven't even opened. I just picked them up. I know one of them says my last name, Overton, on there. The other one says Greatness on there. And so, again, I love the idea of being able to create your own shoes. I'm very big in my real estate business and just in business in general about branding myself. I think it's great when you can wear some Nikes or Air Jordans or whatever the case may be, but it's even better when you can wear your own brand and if you're in business for yourself and really get, again, more awareness and exposure for your own business. I can't tell you how many times when I've worn custom shoes with my name on it, how many people will stop me and ask me, what is that? Or those people that know me are just, they got to pick their jaw off the ground. But it's like, you got your own shoe? I got my own shoe. But yeah, man, I'm just truly excited for your business and where you're headed and the things that you've been able to do. And I do appreciate you spending the time with us today to really just kind of tap into your story of how you've ignited your greatness. And now you're just adding fuel to the fire. You're putting gasoline on this thing right now. And I can't wait to see, what 2021 and the years beyond bring to you. And so thank you again, brother, for being on here. And for those of you that, again, are joining us, if this is your first time, again, my book is Ignite Your Greatness. You can go to my website, igniteyourgreatness.com, to get your copy. Again, this is my theory in regards to the fact that we all have greatness inside of us. And I prove that through the first 7 chapters in my book. And then I go through telling you and explaining to you how to tap into your greatness. I give you a step-by-step manual in regards to how to tap into your very own greatness. And I end the book with just giving you evidence of greatness, much like this podcast, giving you proof of people that have ignited their greatness and are doing some phenomenal things in the world. So get your copy today. And I would look forward to having you to tell your story about how you ignited your greatness on this podcast. So again, Stephen, thank you, sir, for being on here. And thank you for everyone for listening. And remember, there's greatness in you. The struggle is real, but so is your greatness.
Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it. Wanna live life to the fullest, you gotta be hardworking and patient. You got the fire within you. You got a dream that you should be chasing. Pushing through to the finish line and you got no time to be wasting, yeah. Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it.